Okay, because I'm so obsessed with talking, because I love myself. Let's get back into it. Your boy, the man, NJ2TheCity with the number 2 MTO. Let's go. So, in terms of college football, trust me, I hope to God we have a college football season. But at the same time, it's all in the Lord's hands. Let alone it's again, let God do His work, and let's say if it's in God, if it's God's will for us to have one, have one. At least this fall, that is. If not, also spring. And so on and so on. And I also, again, from watching some of the analyst videos that I've been watching, I am enormously annoyed with how selfish, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the top reasons why the Bible clearly says to be in the world but not of the world. These are the reasons why I cannot stand the NFL at times, because why are you not working directly hand in hand with NCAA when it comes to a college football 2020 season? Oh, we're not going to delay our draft. Why not? You're in the midst of a global pandemic. Why not? This is what I mean when I say God of everything. The evidence could not be more mind-blowing clearer. This is why I write the way that I write. I talk the way that I talk about society, money, and people. That dollar ain't worth my soul. That dollar ain't worth my character. That dollar ain't worth my ego, which two words that I'm about to use here that just like probably factor into the reason why people's ego and pride are as boosted as it is. But the words like, what do you mean? I think I know what I mean, but I just, again, may not know how to phrase it, so I'm just going to phrase it the best way I know how. Money ain't worth my pride. Money ain't worth my ego. That might be two sentences you're like, what? What that means in terms of I'm not going to be prideful about how I negatively spend money. And what that means is in terms of I'm going to try to, God first, always be as fruitful with my money and smart, wise, and talented, other positive words you can use. I will never be prideful about money where because I got this or I got that amount, I'm just gonna just keep it all to myself and pretend as if that's wealth, etc. What I mean about money does not have my ego, control my ego. That means in terms of I am never gonna think because I have $1 million, whenever that day comes, that I'm better than everybody else on planet Earth. No. That's what I mean when I tell you money is not worth my pride, money is not worth my ego. Two words you're probably thinking, Nate, money usually inflates people's pride and ego. I know, but my pride and ego are two different things than other people's pride and ego. So learn that about your boy. The way my pride and my ego work, trust me, they're two different things than the way everybody else's pride and ego works. Because the top thing to balance every bit of rhetoric that I just spat out is that I godly every day try to balance my pride and my ego with my faith. Every day I try to balance my pride and my ego out with with my humility. If you know how to balance out pride and ego with faith and humility, trust me, you have the most blessed combination you could possibly ever have. And so on. I do believe one of the top reasons why the Bible says to, somewhere in the Bible it talks about being financially rich, and I guess it says to not try to be financially rich. I think in terms of being, a billionaire, I think, God forgive me, I do not know everything in the Bible, but I know quite a bit, is because I feel like God has told me over the last couple weeks, if not months, Nate, everybody had to sacrifice something to get up there. And what that meant, well, at least for a lot of people, what that means, like, they had to sacrifice, like, in terms of, like, They had to oppress somebody. Almost everybody who got up to that status, Nate, had to oppress somebody. You could even say millionaire status, but I'm going to definitely go with more of the billionaires. My faith tells me that, Nate, everybody, a majority of billionaires, if not every last one of them, they all had to sacrifice something to get up there, in terms of they all had to, like, dare I even say, somebody had to oppress somebody, to get there. And or for the fact that traditionally a lot of people think that billionaires have the biggest egos, the biggest pride, and they think that, the world is their oyster. Amongst a lot of the things that I can name there. But I'm pretty sure all of us, if not a majority of us, should have I wouldn't say the sense, but we definitely should. If anybody's been watching the news, especially knowing when this video was, made, if anybody's been watching the news, the Washington franchise for the NFL has not only come under fire for, once again, the name of the team, but and then they're now changing that, and I hope the guys the Red Wolves. But they're also coming under fire for harassment allegations. Ladies and gentlemen, again, and God bless Dan Snyder, but once again, Dan Snyder, you realize how bad this looks. Not only are you in the midst of a cultural name change, but your franchise has literally just came under, assault for harassment allegations, or came under fire now for a bunch of harassment allegations. Oh my gosh! But the thing that any of that has in common, guys, they're billionaires. They're billionaires. That's what they had in common. They're billionaires. I haven't even watched the show called Billions, and I don't think I need to in order to know how billionaires think. If not, a majority of them. The majority of them do not care about me and you, the average, everyday working citizen. Or just the average, everyday citizen. They just care about what makes them more and more money. I guess. Because sometimes that's hard for me to even believe sometimes, because especially at least when it comes to running a franchise more so, it's hard for me to believe. And why? You can't tell me that Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick, and Johnny Manziel cannot sell jerseys, especially after being out of the league for God knows more than a year, if not more than 2 to 3 to 4 years. You cannot tell me that all three of those men cannot sell jerseys. I know they can. Especially if they get signed and they're lighting it up all over the field like a Lamar Jackson. You can't tell me that all three of those guys could not sell jerseys. Dude, I'm not going to say they would sell more than Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes is, again, on a whole other planet. But they would definitely be somewhere in the top 10 of jersey sales. You know it. We all know it. But yet the NFL wants to call itself a business. No, you're not. You're a biased business, as I like to call them. Because if you were not a biased business, by the way, God bless my I would say my friend, Kyle Slaughter. Don't know him personally whatsoever, but I'm gonna call him my friend, like Stephen A. Smith calls Tim Tebow his friend. Look up Kyle Slaughter. Look up his highlights. The guy literally deserves to be in the NFL, but yet, I want to say yet he can't stick a roster, or he can stick a roster, but they once again keep sticking him on a roster just to cut him off the roster. And what that means is go look at this past season with the Minnesota Vikings, the past preseason with the Minnesota Vikings. The guy played lights out. I never forget being on social media a year ago, and literally when Kyle Slaughter was cut, and if Minnesota Vikings fans, if I'm not mistaken, particularly were like, what? They were like, how you gonna cut Kyle Slaughter? He evidently outplayed Sean Mannion, because they don't want competition at that position. And dare I say, they was hoping he would probably play like crap. But since he didn't, they're like, yeah, let's just cut him anyway. But that's the business side of things. Other than that, yeah, I think, again, the Bible says, again, something about when it comes to financial prosperity and wealth in terms of being a billionaire. and if not, also a millionaire. Because there's a lot of things that you sacrifice in terms of peace of mind, sanity, and maybe a few other things to get there. And sadly, the evidence could not be more and more clear every time you do your research on these billionaires. God bless Robert Kraft. Remember what came out about him in those, massage places? Remember that? And I ain't gonna lie, I was one of those people who thought Robert Kraft's a great owner. Don't know him personally, but still, I still thought, from all the hype, he's a great world-class owner. I mean, he's one of them. He's one of them. Dan Snyder's one of them. I feel like I don't know. I don't know why they booted Mr. Richardson out. I think they said something to do with racial comments, but I really don't know. And a few other billionaires that aren't NFL owners, but they definitely are billionaires. Instead of saying the guy's full last name, I'm definitely gonna say his initials, J.E. And that right there is another. If I'm not mistaken, he was a billionaire as well. If I'm not mistaken, a couple other guys I'm trying to name. If I can get it. Oh God, there's just too many to name, but I definitely named quite a couple. But for example, I'm just saying that's again why I believe the Bible says to not try. I think it says something about it, to not try to excel to those levels of higher financial prominence, because you're always sacrificing, giving up something for something. Let alone you're always probably oppressing somebody to get up there, and so on. And I think that's one of the top reasons why the Bible might say something about, indeed, do not try to become financially wealthy in that case for those reasons. I mean, goodness gracious, they say all the political people who are involved with that guy, all the political people, music industry execs. I mean, you just name how dirty and filthy the industries are, let alone people with that type of money and power. That's why I believe indeed. And just listen to Lecrae's song titled "Confessions" off his Gravity album. I think you'll again understand even more. And let alone what Andy Mineo said when he said, "I was with a billionaire last week and the boy had Payless sneakers on, get money." That's what I'm trying to express there to people. It just couldn't be more vague to me about what the Bible means when he says, At first you might take confidence and pride in billionaires, if not knowing billionaires, or whatever the case might be, in terms of whatever you were sold on when it comes to hype with billionaires. And like I said, I've been sold on some hype too when it comes to billionaires, so that's why I'm thinking that some billionaires are one thing, others are other things. But then quite a few of them come up under scandals, let alone political figures, and you're like, and you're like, why did I buy into this hype? God of everything. God bless everybody's soul. God bless everybody's heart. But I'm definitely saying the evidence could not scream louder and louder, day by day, second by second, inch by inch. I mean, again, do your own research and come to your own God-first rational conclusions. But I do believe that's why the Bible says to be in the world, but not of the world. Because when you are of this world, you are going to fall for a lot of things you should never be involved in, etc., etc. I mean, still not the most involved in politics, and by God's grace, I never will be. Because there's just no reason to. I'd rather be the most involved in faith and the church, Bible, religion. I'd rather be the most involved in that, let alone connecting that with community and activism and awareness and etc. Community causes. I'd rather be hands-on involved with all that than to be in politics. Not for me. If you were to personally ask me. Your boy man, NJ2TheCity out. More coming soon. I don't know when, but stay tuned for more. Peace.